Hi everyone. In this video I wanted to talk about how it's something I've been thinking about a lot actually lately because I've been working on my documentary, and I've been thinking about in 2026 how I want to make a lot of narrative films. I was going to talk about how Australians don't really like watching Australian films, and I guess to an extent talk about tall poppy syndrome, which sort of applies, not 100%, but sort of applies, maybe just Australian culture in general. It's funny because years ago, I used to work at, I think I told this anecdote in another video, but years ago, I used to work at a cinema. When I was at university, that was my job for a few years. I worked in a cinema. And people used to come and you'd tell them, they'd be like, oh, what are we going to watch? Oh, there's this. And they'd be like, oh, is that Australian? When they'd see something. And you'd be like, yeah. And they'd be like, oh, not that. They didn't want to go to the Australian movie, right? And over the years, I've seen it more and more, like as a film teacher for 10 years, I've seen like students, whenever you put on Australian, like, oh, why are we watching this like that? It's like, for some reason, Australians just aren't comfortable watching themselves on camera. They don't want to watch movies with Australians in them. And I'm generalizing here. There are some people who love Australian cinema. But for the most part, your average man on the street Australian, and I say this because I saw it, anecdotally obviously, but I saw it working in a cinema and I've seen it as a teacher, that yeah, Australians just don't like watching themselves. It's like they're embarrassed to see themselves and their culture represented on TV. Sometimes I think there's more to it than that though, because I think a lot of the things that are getting made in Australia are very Sydney-centric. I think the other video I made, I did talk about like Sydney-centric films, because a lot of movies are getting made in Sydney and Melbourne, and to a lesser extent Brisbane. The Queensland industry has grown significantly, but I think Sydney and Melbourne still produce most of the work you see in Australia. And most actors, of course, the known actors in Australia are kind of from Sydney and Melbourne to a lesser extent. So, that's a contributing factor as well. But it's interesting, I think, something about our culture, maybe because we all came as convicts, I don't know if we all did, but like everyone talks about this from England, and or maybe that everyone who came to Australia had to struggle. They were starting from scratch, kind of like America got started. Everyone went and they had to start from scratch and work really hard. And maybe it's, I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of videos talking about Australian identity, but the thing I want to talk about is, okay, let's just take it that this is fact, right? Or if not fact, like that there's some truth to what I'm saying, that Australians don't want to see Australian films. Well, here's me going into next year and I want to make Australian films. Is anyone going to want to watch them? That's the question, right? Is anyone going to watch the things I have to make? Now, I've seen tons of shorts that, some of the best shorts I've ever seen are Australian. I think Nash Edgerton's short series, I haven't seen the most recent one he made, but he made a film called Spider and a film called Bear, and then he's followed up with another one called Shark that I haven't seen. It's from like, I think last year or the year before. But it's not publicly available. It's still at festivals, I guess. Anyway, those first two, especially Spider, is an exceptionally good short film. And Bear is also a very, very, very good short film. And they're simple. They're just like a joke, but excellent. And Australian, right? Though the lead actress has a French accent in Spider. So I don't know. Does that mean it's not Australian? I don't know. But yeah, there's good quality Australian work that's been made. And I don't know, I'm excited about, I've always wanted to make Australian films because I want to see myself represented on screen, right? Like people like me with a background like mine represented on screen. This is what I want to see, right? And so if all of Australians don't want to see that because they'd rather see, I don't know what, just a mainstream Hollywood film, because Hollywood are the people in the West generating the films everybody wants to see. It's like, is it a waste of time to want to make films that represent your people? Is it a waste of time to try and, say something through the medium of film because I'm Australian and my own cultural people aren't interested in what I'm making? For the most part, like it's work to watch an Australian movie. Anyway, I think despite that, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do it anyway next year. I'm going to make short films and hopefully they will resonate with Australians, but if not, internationally as well. That's the good thing about YouTube, right? And this is the thing, I've always, as someone who makes no budget independent stuff, I'm not trying to make an Australian Marvel film or an Australian Star Wars. Like I just want to make movies that talk about human issues, right? Like a couple of videos back, I made the video yesterday. I talked about the movie called Happy Christmas. It was a really, very realistic, like realism, textbook. It's like real life in a film. And it was a really good movie, and it's like, I think just getting stories or getting ideas about what it's like to exist, expressing yourself through film, it's important, regardless of whether you have an audience or not. And I think that's what I'm thinking going into next year. I just am excited about making a bunch of stories and seeing if any of them land with anyone and seeing if I can get better as a storyteller and seeing if I can express myself better and make meaning in things. Like without having to worry about making TV ads and corporate videos or teaching, I can just make things. That's my goal for the new year. So yeah, I don't know, it's interesting. maybe with web videos, people are more amiable to Australian stuff, because I know there's like the Auntie Donna guys, their stuff's huge. And then, you know, shows like, you know, Please Like Me was big, and there are other Australian shows that have been pretty big. Shows not so bad, you know, and like, maybe it's just the movies that are getting made aren't the right movies for a lot of Australians, you know, maybe they don't feel like they're being properly represented. I don't know. There would be people who've written books about this. There would be videos already analysing this, much more polished than this video essays. This is just me thinking out loud about something I've been thinking about because I'm talking about potentially making a lot of films in the new year, you know? So yeah, it's interesting. What do you think? Would you go watch an Australian movie if I said right now, hey, I've got a new Australian movie, do you want to watch it? Would your instant reaction be no, or would it be, oh yeah, let's give it a go? Like, I'd be very interested to know. So let me know in the comments. Anyway, great seeing everyone today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.